All right, so it's being rumored, or I should say, Deion Sanders, Coach Prime of Colorado, is being linked to Julian Lewis out of Georgia. I'm very high on Julian Lewis. He reclassified up a whole class to get to college just a little bit sooner. I guess that money calling his name, but I really like Julian Lewis. Is he my number one guy? No, but he's definitely in my like top 5, top 10 of all of the 200 and like 300 quarterbacks I watched in the 2025, and I watched all of them. Julian Lewis is in my top 10. I think he was around like the 4 to 5, top 4. I think he was like number 4 on my list. But Deion Sanders is about to make a lot of people mad, especially USC, to go from Shedeur Sanders to Julian Lewis. If Julian Lewis get denied as a day one starter as a freshman, once Shedeur goes off into the NFL for as a top 5, top 10 pick, that'll be a great stair step to greatness for Julian Lewis. He's going to get an NFL shot. USC is about to be upset because y'all already suck. You know, no shot, nothing against USC, but y'all know we talk a little junk over here, man. If you offended, hey, man, go over there to, these other channels, man. Where they going to be politically correct. We going to talk a little junk over here, but yeah, you already not very good, and Lincoln Riley experiment is not very good. And if you lose Julian Lewis, who I think will be a good quarterback or a great quarterback under Lincoln Riley, because despite how I feel about him as a head coach, as an offensive coordinator, as a quarterback guru, as a Heisman, he is all of that. So we're going to check out this video on 3 recruits about this Deion Sanders, Julian Lewis potential flip. So let's see what they got. Let's see what they got to say.
Shout out to Boulder. We got to talk some Colorado Buffalo recruiting. What a weekend it was. Colorado beat Cincinnati in prime time. Colorado brings in top quarterback target Julian Lewis. Now Deion Sanders and the Buffs put on a absolute show. Steve, what are you hearing on Julian Lewis coming out of this one?
Well, right before I jumped on with you guys here to record the latest episode of Wilt Fong Whip Around, hit like and subscribe to the On 3 Recruits channel, please, for the...
Hey, man, subscribe to the channel, man. Become a part of the community, of the family. If you want a little bit more entertainment with your sports, you tired of the cookie cutter, everybody's a dog. We don't really care about people's feelings over here. We care about making people better, being honest. We're not gonna be disrespectful, but we're gonna have fun with it. If you take offense to it, just take the coaching and move on and get better. But yeah, man, subscribe to the channel. Come join the family. We growing, we moving. But I would love to have you. I love to have you. Hey, and send me your film, man. Send me your film. Send me your film on IG, man. I'm always looking for guys, dogs at every position. Particularly, I really focus on the trenches, man, because that's just what I did. That's what I do. That's what I love. But if I find me a good quarterback here or there, I'll make some content on them. I'll talk about them on Twitter. I'll do whatever I got to do to help that kid out, man. If I like a kid, I'm going to talk about that kid. I'm going to promote the kid. I'm going to interview the kid and let hopefully other people see what I see. I ain't never going to lie on you. I ain't going to never lie to you. But I'm going to tell the truth about what I see on the game tape.
Best recruiting information from the Inside Scoop with Josh Newberg, the 5-Star Flex with Philip Dukes, and the Wilt Fong Whip Around, among other shows. They said they don't think Julian Lewis is going to stick with USC. Now, look, we talked to various sources about this recruitment, and there are people that do think he's going to stick with USC. I think things remain very fluid with Julian Lewis as they continue to have dialogue with Indiana, Colorado, and USC, where he's a longtime commit and visited twice this fall. But what we do know is that he had a fantastic experience at Colorado this weekend, talking to several sources that spent time or have knowledge of this Julian Lewis recruitment. This is his 4th time visiting Boulder, a chance to get out there on Friday night because
that's a lot of visits for a kid that's committed to USC. That's one thing about recruiting, man. Like, the truth always comes. One thing I've always said, and I tell recruits, I tell parents, I tell moms, dads, uncle, cousin, them, everybody say, listen, man, if you are truly committed to a school, you shouldn't be taking any more visits. You shouldn't be going on. You shouldn't be talking to them. You shouldn't be doing none of that. Not for real, for real. If you really committed to that school, I say commit to them. It's just like a relationship. You can't be saying, I'm in love with this girl, but I got all these other girls on the side. You can't say that. You can't do that. You can't do all that. So for me, if you a committed recruit, regardless of what that, now it's crazy because these schools are going to continue to recruit other people, even other people at your position. So to a certain extent, I ain't got a problem with it because hey man, those schools still recruiting people in your class at your position. They still paying other people money. So is it a bad thing to keep your options open? No, but I'm a little bit old school. I believe you're gonna commit to that team. Commit to them, man. So the fact that Julian Lewis is entertaining all these Colorado visits and offers and attention means there is a crease. There is a door opening. We saw what happened with Dylan Raiola last year in Georgia, where Dylan Raiola committed to a few different schools before he ultimately signed in Nebraska. And the closer we get to National Signing Day, the more and more you're gonna see people start to, start a little creeping a little bit. So we're gonna see what happens. We saw Dylan flip like the day of recruiting or something like that. So we don't know, man. He can flip one day, go back tomorrow. It's crazy.
Didn't have a game this weekend to get around the players on the team, to get back around the coaching staff, to see this Colorado program really develop. He was there for spring practice, and the family, I remember his dad telling me, they got playmakers. This is an offense that's going to be explosive, but they wanted to see it in live, real action, and they've gotten just that. This is one of the more prolific offenses in college football with the quarterback under center that's going to be in line for all the major awards in college football. Another thing that's exciting about Colorado for Julian Lewis is that Shedeur Sanders is exhausting his eligibility following the season, moving on to the NFL. And that job is wide open for next year. And if Julian Lewis wants to be a day one starter on Saturday, Colorado might be his best opportunity among the three programs. Colorado pointing towards the lens that's on their program and the opportunity that brings you in the NIL arena, pointing to Shedeur Sanders and all the advertisements that he's in and all the social media impressions he gets. Those are things that are exciting to Julian Lewis and his camp as well. So Colorado's got a lot going for them in the recruitment of the five-star quarterback. I expect him to be back at Indiana for the Michigan game in a couple weeks. They tried to make the Nebraska game in Bloomington happen a couple weekends ago, but just travel logistics, it wasn't easy enough to power through and get to Indiana. But Indiana's awesome season to date is also resonating. That offense, the success they're having in the Big Ten. So Julian Lewis, he's got three good options because, of course, USC and what Lincoln Riley's done historically at quarterback and offense still front in his mind. And he's been out there twice for games this fall. Maybe he'll get back for the Nebraska game in November, which is lining up to be another big weekend for the Trojans. But Colorado in the middle of this one, going into their bye week, having just hosted their top overall target. They need a quarterback in this class. They didn't sign one last year. Neither did USC. So very important position for Deion Sanders and Lincoln Riley in 2025.
And the thing about it is USC has whiffed on a lot of quarterbacks over the last couple years. They do a good. Let's be honest. Lincoln Riley is the guy. If you're a quarterback and you want to go to the NFL and you want to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, Lincoln Riley is your guy. I can't even take that. And I'm not the biggest fan of Lincoln Riley as a head coach. But like I said before, Lincoln Riley is that. He is him when it comes to quarterbacks. He is him, bro. What he's done with Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts, who else? Kyler Murray, Caleb Williams. Now, does he get all the credit for those guys? No, because I've been following most of Caleb Williams since he was in high school, and he was that dude in high school. So Lincoln Riley does an amazing job of identifying talent at quarterback. He also does an amazing job of developing and putting the offense around them so they can be the best quarterback and ultimately win the Heisman and all that good stuff. So, but Deion Sanders brings something else to the table. I mean, he's polarized. He's going to have you're probably going to get a lot more money going the Deion Sanders route, a lot more notoriety. You're going to build a much bigger following going the Deion Sanders route than you would going the Lincoln Riley route. In Indiana is an up and comer. They're doing what they did in Nebraska. How they just completely dismantled Nebraska. And y'all know how I feel about Nebraska. I love what's going on in Nebraska. I'm a Georgia fan, but I love what's going on with Nebraska. Win, lose, or draw. Dylan Raiola can't do no wrong. He can do wrong. I'm going to come in, I critique him, blah, 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 but he's still going to be that guy to me. and for them to make Dylan Raiola look like a true freshman is commendable, man. Because we saw what Dylan Raiola did to Ohio State. They didn't beat him, but they could have. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, and Julian Lewis news. Could be something, could be nothing. Signing day is quickly approaching, and a lot of people about to flip, and a lot of schools, a lot of fan bases are going to be upset with those kids for doing that. But for me, y'all know how I feel, man. If I like a kid, I don't care where that kid go. He can come to Georgia, he can go wherever. If I like a kid, I'm rocking with him no matter where he goes. His value is not going to drop in my eyes because he signed to another school. If I believe he is a good player, I'm going to still rock with him. So let me know what y'all think in the comments below.